little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I think you can call it an action film. Definitely.
It's got laughs, it's got a bit of action, it's got a bit of sexiness.
You could call it a spy film.
It's an action, comedy, romance, kind of espionage film.
And I guess you could call it an odd couple film in some ways, but I think you don't have to say that because I think the minute you say Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins, it is an odd couple.
It's a Bruckheimer action. It's got Jerry all over it. Things are gonna blow up in a Jerry Bruckheimer movie.
You know, funny is money. And you want to try to make these pictures, especially an action movie, to give it another twist. And we did it with Beverly Hills Cop many years ago and kind of created a genre that was action-packed and yet had humor in it.
Hopefully we've taken something that is a genre piece in the sense that it is a spy thing and there is a bomb in it and can they stop the bomb from going off. There are several of these nuclear bombs, suitcase bombs that are missing. And I think that was the basis of the inspiration for the story. What would happen if one of these got into the wrong hands and then it was up for sale?
It's an idea that we've been kicking around for quite a while trying to put together. And, finally we developed a screenplay that we were confident that finally worked. And that's the hardest thing to do, is get a script to work.
You read the script? It's something with a bomb. That's all I know. There's bombs in Prague. I don't know, man.
When I finally did read the draft that had my character in it, I was really excited.
You have a basic theme and a spine for your story, and then you layer that with your characters and with the dramatic situations that they have to go through.
There's the authority figures always bucking the system, like James Bond, and Chris Rock's character is always bucking the system.
Jason Rickman had really written this fun script. It's definitely an odd couple script, and the idea of those two actors together was very irresistible.
Why did I want to make this film? A, they paid me. They had money. It's weird. A lot of, Jerry Bruckheimer came to my house with a suitcase full of money. I still don't know how much it was, but it was a suitcase, and he opened it up and said, do this movie.
I was cast and thrown into it pretty quickly, the film.
My agent said I was going up for an American part, so I got to the audition and the casting director said, no, it's Russian. So I did the screen test in Russian, and then they sent the script a month later and said, it's Afghanistani, and I said, I don't look Afghanistani. They said, no, it's probably Russian.
My agent phoned me and said, I recommend you do this. It'll be good for you, it'll be a good change of pace. I said, okay. I read it. I must say I only read half of it. I tend to be a little irresponsible. Sometimes I won't read a whole script in case they offer it to somebody else.
This film is really different. I mean, just Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock. Whenever I tell people I'm doing a film with those two, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy.
I mean, they're hysterical together.
I'm having as good a time with Anthony Hopkins as I have with, any guy my age.
It's my first experience with Sir Anthony, and he did an amazing job.
Anthony Hopkins is just, one of the greatest living actors that we have. And I think what's more interesting is when you ask both of them why they chose to work with each other, because that was done before I got there. I mean, I was handed this wonderful present.
I actually remember seeing Anthony when I was a schoolboy. I went to see him playing a classic role in London on the stage, and I have to say I think he inspired a whole generations of English actors to kind of move away from that English snobbishness about, stage acting is wonderful and film is somehow wrong.
He's like an everyman, he doesn't take on this movie star status and stuff.
He just has the accent, but otherwise he's really, normal guy.
We sit and laugh and fool around. He's a great impressionist, and when I talk to him about acting, sometimes he's just like, don't, let's not talk about it. It just gets into your head and you overthink things and all that stuff. So he comes sort of in an instinctual way.
He was telling these great stories about understudying, Laurence Olivier. So it's great when you can get him in those moments when he'll tell you about that stuff, because you're hearing it right from the source, It's sort of legendary stuff.
Anthony Hopkins as a man, when you're with him, is very, very funny. He does great impressions. He tells great stories, and he's very witty. So, you know, just because someone's a serious actor doesn't mean they don't have a sense of humor.
But I'm not a Chris Rock, I'm not Jack Lemmon, I'm not a comedian. But I'm witty and I have a sense of humor. I admire people who can get laughs and be funny all the time. People like Richard Pryor or Robin Williams or whoever, or Chris Rock.
You just gotta be funny. Nobody really cares how you get there. People don't even care if it has nothing to do with the movie, if they're laughing.
It's just fun to hang with Chris and talk about anything. You know, there isn't a subject in the world that you can't talk about. And just watching Chris's mind work is really phenomenal.
I see him as a strong voice of my generation, you know, and, you know, his perception on life and, you know, society and stuff. Really keen, really right on.
And he's always saying these things you wish you had thought of because they encompass exactly what you're feeling about the zeitgeist at that moment, whether it's politics or sex or violence. And I knew how intelligent he was, how brilliant he was. So I felt that he was so smart that if he didn't feel comfortable about acting, that he would learn it.
I think he could do very serious drama if he wanted to. And now he's like an action star.
It's fun working with him because there are times when we're working where he just improvises. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I get a free show. You know, I'm not paying any ticket. I'm not watching him on TV. I'm just right here listening to him just fly, you know.
The two things you're going to have to do.
One of the things I gotta do is die no money. So, you know, I can't step on Anthony's lines or anybody's lines, for that matter. It also has its advantages because I have support. You know, when I'm on stage, it's just me. When it sucks, it's, hey, I suck. You know, if this sucks, Jerry Bruckheimer sucks, Joel Schumacher sucks.
He can give you the comedy, the wit, the charm, and yet he can make you believe that he's really on this mission.
Yeah, I'm Chris Rock. I do what I do and try to be funny.
Chris improvises sometimes too, and you gotta go. You know, you gotta just go with it.
Joel's receptive. I mean, you know, we fool around with lines here and there.
You know, I encourage the actors to do that as much as possible, as long as it's working for the scene. If it isn't, then we go back to the script. But sometimes the improvisations are the best part of a movie.
I had talked about adding in a scene where you could sort of see how, you know, earlier on, how Swanson feels about Oakes. And so, you know, we didn't script it at all. I mean, Joel had scribbled some stuff on a napkin, and we sort of looked at it and talked about it, and then we just did it.
The filming part is really the director. I mean, he's really in charge. I love to take directors who haven't done certain genres and throw them in there, especially if they're creative and talented, because then you'll get a whole different look at the genre, and that's what Joel did. He made it his own and did a brilliant job making it his own.
He tells his actors all the time, look, you're beautiful and you're great, and that's all I do to direct, you know? It's pretty hilarious.
And I remember coming to work on the first day, the very first day. We were shooting in a New York street, and I had a leather jacket, a baseball cap, and sunglasses. I got into the habit of chewing on toothpicks. And I said to Joel Schumacher, I said, I don't want to play it in the suit this first day. He said, no, I still want to play it like this. He said, good. Looks good.
Does he ever talk about character development? No. Does he talk about the structure of the film? No. Does he talk about what's happening? I ask him questions all the time. He says, why are you asking me all these questions? I'm like, I don't know, you're the director. He goes, oh yeah.
He's got a big scope. I've been, you know, watching the monitors and stuff, and every angle, every direction, everything's covered. It's a big, big movie.
Big crane shots and explosions and smoke and guns, and that he still is sensitive to the needs of the actors. And he is still thinking about, you know, is that a realistic moment as an actor?
What's great about him is he knows when to leave me alone, and he knows when I need a little help.
He's very easy to work with. Dead easy, actually. Very charming, very nice guy. Patient. He had a lot of problems. We were filming in Prague. There's always a language problem and communication problem when you're in a foreign country. We
wanted a very mysterious, interesting foreign location, and Prague gives you that. I mean, it's historic because Hitler didn't bomb it. The buildings are still there. They're ancient. They're from the 14th, 15th century. It's all still standing, which makes it really intriguing.
Beautiful city. Beautiful not quite London-y, but Paris-y, you know?
It sort of looks like a fairy tale kingdom, and Charles Bridge is one of the most beautiful bridges in the world. I mean, I guess people come from all over the world just to walk across it, and it's a city of bridges because it has the river that runs right in the center of it, and that island is there, and I decided to put that scene on Prague Island because then the audience would see all of Prague, because they allowed us to shoot on certain landmarks like the National Opera roof, things that weren't available before to people, and maybe never again. They allowed us to do it. We were thrilled, and the people in Prague were great to us.
Yeah, it's a lovely city, beautiful city. But after about a few weeks, you want to go home again. I live out here in California, and I kept saying all the time I was in Prague, Malibu, Malibu.
It's got such cool stunts. I think that's one of the things that I really like about the film, is that it's got all these different layers to it.
It's definitely a comedy. And yet, it's also got a lot of action in it. So what's that? Action comedy.
Buddy, action cop, action comedy, suspense thriller.
A lot of running, man. A lot of shooting guns. This is an action movie, straight up, with a little, like, a dash of comedy.
I like action movies, actually. So to be in one was a lot of fun.
In the end, the good guy wins, and hopefully that will lead over into real life. That's what we all hope and pray for. So anyway, we just try to entertain you, entertain every age.